Rudder and elevator work good. And we're ready to install the motor. The motor is just the same one that comes with the works package with this airplane. It's the Hacker A2026M and X20 speed control, along with the Thunder Power 853 cell battery. And I've already soldered the connectors onto this, and I have the motor connected. Make sure to put that little collar on the prop shaft. It's really important on this. And it's wired up and going in the right direction. Now with the airplane upside down, the motor's gonna, on this case, it's gonna go with the wires hanging out on the right hand side, and it's gonna go in at an angle like this, pointing the shaft toward the center hole. And then you'll go ahead and, it's a tight fit, but it'll press right in there. It's a little bit of a squeaky fit, but it pops right in. Now you can set it tail down, and looking straight down on it, line up the holes and drop in the 4 little mounting screws that are a Phillips head countersunk bolt, and I believe it's a 3mm bolt. There, now we got the motor mounted on the firewall. We got all 4 screws in there. You will see on this one the speed control comes out on the right hand side of the airplane. It may come out on the left and, when the bolt holes line up. Either way, it doesn't matter. I have them both ways. We're going to go ahead and mount the speed control, butt it up against the leading edge of the wing, or just behind it. Maybe we'll turn it sideways so it's in the air good. We'll pull the lead back under the landing gear, and we're going to need to cut an access hole through the fuselage to allow the rudder servo wire through the fuselage to the receiver, and also the aileron servo lead needs to go through. So at this point, I'll go ahead and cut a little hole, and I'm going to do it right above the spar. Make a hole just big enough, or just bigger than the connector. Go ahead and poke the aileron servo through here. And now I'm going to poke the rudder servo through the same hole. And then we got all 4 wires coming through to one side. At this point, I'll take the Velcro pack that comes in the works kit, open it up, and I'm going to slice it into 1-inch long, 3 1-inch long segments. And I'll use my grid here, and cutting this direction, I'll cut it's a 1-inch segment, and it's 2 inches wide, so they're all 1x2s. You get 4 of them. One of them is going to be for the battery. We'll take this one for the receiver, and I'm going to trim it in half. I use this one actually on the speed control. Looks like I'm going to place my speed control about like so. I'll stick this here. And I always, when I push them on there, I give them a good twist. Make sure they're stuck on there well. And it's going to have the lead coming toward the center of the fuselage for the battery. And then the throttle lead going toward the back. Now I'm going to set up the receiver with its Velcro. What I have is I'm running the Futaba R617FS, and I'll put the Velcro on the receiver. Go ahead and plug the receiver in first, actually. The most difficult one, the shortest one, should be the first one plugged in. This is going to be the left aileron, so that means that's actually the flap channel. So we'll plug that into channel 6. The next shortest one will be the rudder. I'm going to go ahead and plug that one in. Then I'll plug the elevator in. Number 2. Aileron. Number 1. The right aileron. And then the throttle number 3. This goes to the speed control. Make sure your polarity is correct on this. And now that all the servos are plugged into the receiver, I'll go ahead and find the best location for the receiver without pulling any wires too tight. It looks like it's going to want to lay flat really nice here, right up against the wing, and that looks fine. Pull the backing off the Velcro. Make sure it's all good, looks good. Put the Velcro down, stick the receiver down, and then use your cellophane tape again to mount the wires. Go ahead and read your instructions on your radio exactly how to mount your antenna. And then I'll go ahead and tuck these wires and fold them up, and then stick a piece of Blenderm or 2 to make sure that the wires aren't flopping around. Okay, we've got the wires all tucked in there real nice on it, and we're going to go ahead and mount the propeller. We'll put the prop hub on here and remove the screw. And it's real important when you use the APC prop that you use the little spacer that comes with it so that the prop is absolutely centered. Please read the instructions on how to put the centering ring in the back of the propeller. It's very important that you don't vibrate the airplane apart. Go ahead and press the prop onto place. And I'm going to go ahead and actually leave it loose for right now. We're gonna check for balance. We're going to balance this one at anywhere from 1 1/4 inches back from the leading edge to 1 1/2 inches back from the leading edge. And what you're going to find with this airplane is the further back you go, it lands a little better, it flies upside down a little better, but it becomes very rudder sensitive. So in order for it to track fairly well, you need to have the CG far forward. In the videos you see, I usually fly mine at 1 1/4 to 1 1/2, and more toward the 1 1/4 inch. And you land with some speed. It takes a little up elevator. It is a nose-heavy airplane, but that's the way it tracks really well. If you want to get wild, do some spins and stunts and stuff, play with moving the battery back. You might enjoy that, but be aware it's going to become very rudder sensitive. So it looks like the battery on this one is going to mount. Now I'm going to guess this 1 1/2. I've seen it plenty of times, but you will want to measure it. Looks like the front of the battery is going to go right at the back of the motor. And now I'm taking into account that there's going to be a little bit of weight from the Velcro. So I'll go ahead and mount it just like that. Okay, I'll place the Velcro on the back of the motor, back.